In this video, I attempt to bring it all together and highlight what you can already see with the naked eye when you decide to step outside and look up without spending a single dime. I will also show you what amazing stuff you can expect to see when you do decide to invest in some astrophotography equipment, ranging from a couple of $100s to investing thousands of dollars and becoming a true nerd-like astrophotography enthusiast as I did. I'm Wido and you're watching Wido's Astro Forum. One of the basic things I think we can all agree upon is how beautiful the night sky is. Just look at it, look at that. And the only thing you need to do is go outside. You don't have to pay €1, you don't have to pay $1, just go outside and be amazed. Look at the night sky and be amazed. For this video, I hopped on my bike and pedaled to the Dutch countryside about 5 kilometers away from my city center, where I have access to Bortle Class 5 skies. Not the darkest skies whatsoever, but as you will notice, there's still plenty to see. For a great stargazing experience, try to find a dark spot away from local artificial light pollution, such as street lights, and do take about 15 minutes to let your eyes adjust to the darkness without looking at your smartphone, and your view will change from this to this. I used my camera to give you an honest representation of the night sky as I could see it that night with the naked eye. So it's amazing what we can see with the naked eye. You can see here the crescent moon in the evening sky, but if you look a little bit up from the crescent moon, and I didn't realize this, actually you see a faint yellowish dot. And that faint yellowish dot isn't just a star, that's the most beautiful planet in our solar system, Saturn. According to astronomers, our young Earth collided with a Mars-sized planet named Theia billions of years ago, and during this massive collision, nearly all of Earth and Theia melted and reformed into one Earth, with a smaller part spinning off to eventually form into the Moon as we know it today. So if you want to spend a couple of $100s on astrophotography, of course you can buy a good quality lens for your camera, but you can also think about something like this. This is the Dwarf II Smart Telescope. This is the live view of the moon through the Dwarf II telescope that night under pretty windy conditions. And here's a second picture of the nearly full moon taken with the Dwarf II Smart Telescope from my balcony in the city. Now, if you're willing to spend a couple of $100s, you can also think about getting the Seestar S50 Smart Telescope from ZWO that got me these moon pictures, or use a used Tamron 100 to 400mm telezoom lens with which I shot this picture of the moon. If you want to learn more about smart telescopes, check out my reviews on my YouTube channel and find a 5% discount offer for the Dwarf II in the video description below. If you want to turn into a complete astro nerd and go all the way, you could consider this Celestron Edge HD 8-inch Schmidt Cassegrain telescope and a dedicated planetary camera like this ZWO 678MC I got a couple of years ago for about $2,000. The Apollo 15 mission, astronauts David Scott and James Irwin landed on the Apennine front and spent 3 days performing fieldwork and collecting samples, which make these mountain ranges a focal point for intensive scientific study to this day. Do you see that bright dot behind me in the night sky? Well, that bright dot isn't just a star. That bright dot is the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet shrouded in amazing and colorful cloud bands, with its main feature being its great red spot that is more than twice the size of Earth. Winds inside this storm reach incredible speeds of 435 kilometers per hour. Nobody knows when the Great Red Spot first appeared on Jupiter, but it has been seen on Jupiter ever since people started looking through telescopes about 400 years ago. I pointed the Dwarf II Smart Telescope to Jupiter that night, and Jupiter appeared as a bright dot of light in the telescope's view, as you can see here, but it revealed some very interesting dots on the side. These bright dots are actually the 4 Galilean moons Io, Europa, Ganymede and Callisto that are in orbit around Jupiter. Here's a similar video I got of Jupiter and its Galilean moons taken with the Seestar S50. And this is a picture I took using my Tamron 100 to 400mm telezoom lens, which are all in the $500 price range. To see the surface details of the planets, I always use my Celestron Edge HD 8-inch telescope with a planetary camera. Now, with this $2,000 setup, I can actually see the magnificent cloud bands of Jupiter as well as the Great Red Spot by stacking and sharpening the best quality frames of a video to produce a final picture like this. If you're really patient, you can track the planets in the night sky for multiple hours. You can find more information about good quality telescopes for planetary imaging on my website astroforumspace.com, including cheaper alternatives like using a Dobsonian telescope. You can also join my channel for $2.99 a month, which gives you immediate access to my 3-hour planetary imaging course as well as other stuff. Your support is of course highly appreciated and helps me to keep my website and channel going. So guys, this is exciting. You can see Jupiter in the top corner of the video, but if you move your gaze a little bit towards the center of the video, you can see 6 super bright stars very close together. And those 6 bright stars, they are a star cluster called the Pleiades. And the Pleiades, they are 444 light years away from Earth, but they are so bright that we can still see them with the naked eye in the night sky. Galileo Galilei was one of the first persons to observe the Pleiades through a telescope in the 17th century. Commonly called the Seven Sisters, it is actually an open star cluster spanning 17.5 light years and containing over 1,000 stars. The brightest stars are hot blue B-type stars that shine 40 times brighter on average than our very own sun, and that's what makes them visible to the naked eye even at such a vast distance. On a clear night, with a naked eye, you can see about 6 stars in the Pleiades, or more if you have great eyesight. I aimed the Dwarf II at the Pleiades for only a couple of minutes that evening. Here's an automatically stacked 3-minute picture I took with the Dwarf II, and you can already see that there are much more than those 6 stars in this famous star cluster. So this is actually the best picture I ever took of the Pleiades, and I'm afraid to tell you this, but I used a $5,000 astrophotography setup. My $5,000 astrophotography rig may be a bit over the top, and there are definitely more options available. You can find out more info on how to get into deep sky astrophotography from affordable to expensive on my website astroforumspace.com and in the video description below. So this is actually one of the most exciting things you can see with the naked eye in the night sky. Just look here. Can you see that fuzzy patch of light? It looks like a nebula, it looks like a cloud, but that fuzzy patch of light is actually another galaxy. It's the Andromeda Galaxy, 2.5 million light years away from Earth, and that's our closest neighboring galaxy. We can still see it with the naked eye because it is so bright. It's amazing. It was just 1 century ago, in 1923, when Edwin Hubble successfully measured the actual distance of the Andromeda Galaxy. Until that time, people mistook the Andromeda Galaxy for a nebula inside our very own Milky Way. The Andromeda Galaxy stretches 220,000 light years and contains an estimated 1 trillion stars, which is why we can see it from Earth with the naked eye. The Andromeda Galaxy is racing towards our Milky Way galaxy at a speed of 300 kilometers per second, and new data from the James Webb Space Telescope in 2023 actually confirmed that in the distant future, the Andromeda Galaxy will merge with our very own Milky Way to form one giant new galaxy. Isn't that insane? I aimed my Dwarf II Smart Telescope at the Andromeda Galaxy for about 1 hour and it produced this picture. When I aimed the Seestar S50 Smart Telescope at Andromeda, it couldn't fit the whole galaxy in a single frame, and I ended up with this picture. Using my dedicated deep sky astrophotography setup, I took this picture of the Andromeda Galaxy. So this is also amazing. Just above the tree line over here, you can clearly see the constellation Orion rising in the night sky. In the middle of that constellation, you can see 3 very luminous stars, and those stars are actually called Orion's belt. And just below those 3 stars, you will see a fuzzy patch of light in the night sky with the naked eye. And that fuzzy patch of light is actually a nebula. It's the Orion Nebula. It's about 1,000 light years away, and this is a place where new stars are born. This is actually a stellar nursery. The Orion Nebula is the closest and brightest nebula we can see with the naked eye from Earth. It is actually a stellar nursery where new stars are born in a cloud of gas, also called a molecular cloud. Around these young stars are young protoplanetary disks, places where new planets like ours may be forming right now. Recent estimates suggest that the nebula harbors close to 3,000 newborn stars in various stages of star formation. The James Webb Space Telescope recently detected about 40 free-floating gas giants the size of Jupiter inside the Orion Nebula. I pointed the Dwarf II for only a couple of minutes at the Orion Nebula, and I already saw some details in the stacked picture. I recently pointed another smart telescope, the Vaonis Vespera, available for $1,500 at the Orion Nebula, taking 10-second photos. And this is how the picture progressed over 1 hour. That's pretty cool, right? In an ultimate effort to detect newborn stars from my backyard, I also pointed my long focal length Edge HD 8-inch telescope at Orion, and I came up with this detailed picture of the core. Another awesome dark nebula known as the Horsehead Nebula can be found close to the bright star on the left of Orion's belt named Alnitak. You can't see this nebula with the naked eye, but here's a stacked picture of the Horsehead and also the Flame Nebula, created automatically by the Vaonis Vespera Smart Telescope after 90 minutes by using its unique covalence mosaic mode. This is a picture I created using my dedicated deep sky astrophotography rig. Using infrared, Hubble was able to pierce through the dark clouds and detect new stellar nurseries within the Horsehead Nebula in the process. Pretty awesome. So another amazing thing we can see in the constellation Orion is this bright yellow star. That star is actually called Betelgeuse. And the amazing thing about Betelgeuse is that it is about to go supernova. It is about to explode. And when it does, that supernova will be brighter than the moon in our night sky for months. Isn't that amazing? Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star. It's about 700 times the size of the Sun and about 15 times more massive. The star measures more than 1.2 billion kilometers in diameter. If we would replace our Sun with Betelgeuse at the center of our solar system, this star would actually reach all the way to Jupiter. That's how big it is. This is a live video I took of Betelgeuse with the Dwarf II Smart Telescope on that windy evening. Betelgeuse is at the end of its life and will go supernova. This could happen today, or many thousands of years into the future. When Betelgeuse eventually runs out of fuel, it will collapse and create an enormous shock wave that will cause the star to explode. This supernova will release ultraviolet radiation, which could actually hit and deplete Earth's ozone layer, at least temporarily. And it will release deadly gamma ray bursts, which are unlikely to reach us as we are at a relatively safe 640 light-year distance. The explosion could actually rival the brightness of a full moon and provide a captivating spectacle in the night sky for months that can be watched by anyone with the naked eye. Just to show you how bright these supernovas are, in early 2023, backyard astronomers, including myself, could actually detect the supernova explosion in the Pinwheel Galaxy, which is 21 million light-years away. Here are two processed pictures I took with my Edge HD telescope showing the galaxy before and after the supernova. Pretty amazing, isn't it? I hope this video gave you some insight into the world of stargazing and astrophotography. My main takeaway message is that the universe is awesome to gaze at, both with the naked eye without spending a dime, and when you decide to invest some money in astrophotography equipment. If this video was useful for you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, or visit my website astroforumspace.com to find out more information about astrophotography. I wish you clear skies and see you in the next video.